Hello and welcome to my first ever knitting related YouTube video. I started knitting in late November last year. I asked my grandma to teach me how to knit and she really helped me a lot. Now I'm sitting in front of you 9 months later. I enjoy watching YouTube videos, knitting podcasts or knitting vlogs or anything knitting related while I'm working on a project myself. So this inspired me a lot to start my own knitting account on YouTube here. And I'm really happy to present you all of the things I have made in my first 6 or 7 months of knitting, because in November and December I knit on one project maybe once a week, so I really didn't make a lot of progress. I really just started knitting in late December. So now it's been like 7 months. And just a little PSA, I actually hurt my hand. I don't know if it's because of knitting or because of work. I don't know the English term. English is not my first language. So sorry. Also PSA if I make any mistakes, any grammatical mistakes or pronounce any words wrong. It's because English is actually not my mother tongue, as you can probably hear by my accent. Yeah, I don't know what the word is, but it's the like inside of my thumb. It's inflamed, so I'm not allowed to use my thumb a lot. Only with this kind of brace, which is why I have to wear this super cute accessory in the video. But it's okay. I'm happy to present you with my first ever knitted accessoires and garments. I will be looking at my iPad to give you all the details, and I will also link my Ravelry account and my Instagram account in the description of this video, so you can simultaneously check everything that I'm saying, because I think I updated almost all of my projects onto Ravelry, and you can definitely find all of my projects on my Instagram account. What started my journey was the Weekend Hat by Petite Knits. I had no idea about anything knitting related when it comes to gauge, different kinds of yarns, different yarn weights. Nothing, I knew nothing. I just saw I bought the pattern, I saw the needle size, I grabbed the needles, I grabbed in my local yarn store, I just grabbed whatever wool. I think it's the cool wool from Lana Grossa. This is what the hat looks like, really horrible. I mean, actually, I'm impressed with my stitches, because I don't know if you can see, but they are so regular. Like the tension is so good on my stitches here. I'm really impressed. I don't know how I did it, but as you can probably tell, she did these 2 rows of double knitting to make a like self-folding edge, which I read the pattern wrong, and I thought, I don't know exactly what I thought, but I put the second double knit edge here, which makes the beanie look really weird, and also the raglan decreases. 2 out of 4 raglan increase lines I did pretty well, and then this happened. I'm not exactly sure what I did. I did this with DPNs, so I should have probably not done this as a first-time knitter. There's really big holes in between. My boyfriend wore this beanie quite a lot, actually. I was always so embarrassed. I don't think I posted the finished object on my Instagram, and I didn't post it on my Ravelry either, because I was so embarrassed. The wool is actually quite nice, and I think it's a nice beanie, like a nice wool for a hat. But overall, this object is, I don't want to say horrible, because it's my first ever object I knit, and I'm really proud of it, because for the first ever, it's still quite good. But I don't think I will ever wear it, just because I know there's so much that I did wrong. Maybe I'm gonna unravel it, but also, honestly, this is not a beanie color that I would wear. I'm not sure. And it's also quite tight on my head. And then, of course, I just stayed in the petite knit realm. This is quite petite knit heavy, I think, but she just makes amazing beginner patterns. They are so clear, so well written and easy to understand. The second thing I knit is another accessoire, and it's the Sophie scarf in red. I've actually knitted a white one before, but I gifted this to the daughter of one of my friends for her first birthday because I made the small size, and both I made in Cardiff Cashmere Classic, I think, just a regular cashmere yarn they have. This one I'm so proud of, and I really enjoyed the process. I think when I entered the knitting realm, knitting community, this was hot, the Sophie scarf. Everybody was knitting it. I saw it all over my Instagram, and I must say this is a really good beginner pattern. I know there's a lot of controversy around the Sophie scarf. You either love it or you don't. A lot of people think it's not a good beginner pattern because of the increases you have to make, and because I don't know what this is called in English, but you know, it's just knit stitches back and forth. And this makes it quite hard to read your rows. But what I did is I just put in stitch markers every increased row I did. And so it was quite easy for me to keep track of where I am in the pattern and in the scarf. And I'm so happy with this. I wore this so much last winter, and I know I'm gonna wear it a lot. This is quite a bold color. Overall, I have to say, I used so many bold colors in my first knits, which does not represent my wardrobe whatsoever. I don't have a lot of bold colors in my wardrobe. And just sitting here and looking at everything makes me realize how many colors I used. I do have a gray ball of Cardiff Cashmere and a brown ball of Cardiff Cashmere to make 2 new Sophie scarves this autumn or winter, because I love this pattern. I love it so much. So yeah, this is my second knit, or third technically, I've ever done. I only have 1 or 2 small mistakes, so I was extremely proud, and the instant gratification you get from this just makes it an even better beginner pattern in my opinion, because it grows so fast and it's so easy to knit this up because of the tiny amount of stitches you have in the beginning. The third project I did was for my boyfriend. It's the November balaclava by Petite Knit, and I think in almost all of the patterns I used the recommended yarn. So I think this was Filcolana, just let me check. Yeah, it's Filcolana Peruvian Highland Wool in black. Now black is not a color I felt comfortable knitting in, but simply because of how dark it is and how hard dark yarns make it to read your object and to see what you did or possibly did wrong. But my boyfriend really wanted it in black, so I just did it. I went for it, and I'm so proud of this. I was really intimidated in the beginning. So you start by knitting this little square here and then just connect everything around. This is also fisherman's rib, I'm pretty sure. And I'm really proud of how well this turned out actually. This is really nice. The only thing is that I didn't manage to match or line up the stitches here in the back, but I don't mind. Overall, I'm really proud of this, and it's also a great pattern. I think I will be making one for myself also this year, maybe, or next year. The only thing I would have done different now in retrospect is the neck. I would have made the neck a bit longer, because for him in winter, it's not enough for German winters to really protect his neck from the wind, because the wind can get quite aggressive. And I maybe would have done a bigger size. I don't know if I did the biggest size. Yes, I did XL, but this is quite tight on his head, and I think he would have preferred a looser fitting balaclava. But I'm still really proud of this. If I make one for myself, I will definitely make it in a lighter color. Another PSA. There's a lot of PSAs in this video for a first video, but it's really gloomy outside, and it could be the case that the light will change throughout the video. I'm really sorry for this, but the German summer right now is extremely gloomy and rainy, which I'm not complaining about. The next finished object I have, I'm doing these in chronological order also, by the way, is my first garment, and this piece is actually the reason I wanted to start knitting. I think I saw this on Pinterest around the beginning of October, and I was so captured by this piece. And the coolest thing about it is that it's two designers, they are sisters, and they're actually from Germany, just like me. When I found out about this, I decided that I need to start learning how to knit so I can knit this object, and it is the Cardi du Coeur from Le Fil du Coeur. Like I said, they are two sisters who are knitwear designers, and they are just the sweetest people ever. I love their account, I'm obsessed. And this cardigan is just the best thing ever, is it not? I'm so in love. It's so easy to knit. I think it's knitted on 9mm needles, so again the perfect beginner pattern. And you just do the back yoke and then the front yoke, you join them in a round, do the sleeves, and then just knit to your desired length. And because it's such big needles and it's knitted on mohair or kid silk, you have instant gratification. This is also the first garment where I didn't use, or the first object, not garment, where I didn't use the recommended wool. I used the kids silk from Drops, just because I thought it was quite expensive. The Lana Grossa, I think, is what they use. But I'm so happy with this. The colors are perfect. You can find all the colors linked in my God, this is so hard to say for me as a German person. Ravelry. La 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 la. Oh my god. My Ravelry account. I think this was good. And I love this so much. This is one of the garments I think I've worn the most, and I get the most compliments on. Everybody's always, especially at my job, asking me where I got this from, and then I always have the pleasure of saying I actually did it myself. Yeah, this is one of my most loved objects for sure, and I'm really happy, and I'm grateful for this because, like I said, this is what inspired me to learn how to knit, and it's such a perfect garment for beginners. You can of course also do this, you know, in whatever colorway you want. I've seen so many versions in pastel colors, also unicolor, so this is extremely versatile and so easy, and especially warm. This keeps me so warm. I tried to wear this in the last summer months when it was a bit gloomy and rainy, but even then it was too warm for me, so this is perfect for the transitional months between, you know, summer and autumn and winter and spring. The next thing I knit were my first pair of socks, and they were of course the Sunday socks by Petite Knits. I adore these socks. These were so much fun to make. This was such a quick knit. I think the first sock I knitted in 2 days, and then the second sock in just 1 day. I used the magic loop method, and it made it so easy to knit these socks up. Perfect construction, easy to understand. I already casted on my next pair of Sunday socks as a gift knit, not for me. I think for my first socks, these turned out so well, and this is such a great introduction, the pattern, to knitting socks. I've worn them so much already, even if it wasn't winter time, because my feet get quite cold a lot, and we live in an old building, so it's always cold here. Anyways, I adore these socks. Again, I use the recommended wool, which is I think the perfect by Sandnes Garn, and I don't have much to say. These are the perfect beginner sock pattern. The next garment is my favorite garment I have made to this day. So when I started knitting, I didn't realize how versatile knitting projects could be. Of course, you think of beanies, you know, hats in general, scarves, maybe even mittens, sweaters, cardigans, but for me that was about it. And I didn't, you know, conquer a lot of knitting Instagram accounts, so I was also seeing just the same patterns over and over again. But then I came across this stunner of a knitting pattern. So this is the Sandog t-shirt. It's a collaboration between Garnius. I haven't weaved in the ends yet. I've worn this so many times and the ends are not weaved in properly. Oh, this is knitted up in merino wool from Garnius, I think even. So Garnius is wool seller and also pattern. So it's like a website and it exists in Norway, Sweden, Denmark and Germany, thankfully. So this pattern is unfortunately not available in English for now. I don't know if the designer will translate it, but it is available in German, which is lucky for me. And this is the most beautiful body hugging garment I have ever seen. I love this t-shirt so much. I've worn it so many times and it's perfect. It's made from, I think you hold 2 or 3 strands of merino. It's the baby merino from Garnius and I love this pattern so much. It was my first raglan construction ever. I think this took me about 3 weeks, which is quite fast for me, I think. And in the end I was so impatient, as I am in general, that I think knit for 4 hours every day to finish this. I will definitely make this in another color. I'm in love with this. And I think out of all of the garments I made, this is my favorite garment so far. Now, this next pattern is stunning. At this point, it was, I think, at the beginning of April or the middle of April. And that's when the butter yellow trend was really flaring up all over Instagram. And I saw this actually in my, I'm saying local, but it's in Berlin. I'm not from Berlin, but it's my favorite yarn store, Woll in Berlin. And they had this pattern laying there. It's from Sandnes Garden. And it's their rose top. And it's, wow. I think this is the double moss stitch. I think they call it pearl stitch. So you do pearl, pearl, knit, knit, pearl, pearl, knit, knit, just throughout the whole pattern. And it's so beautiful. So it's this stunning little vest. I made mine a little bit cropped, which I regret. It was, again, because I was impatient and I wanted to finish the object. So I just stopped knitting at one point when I thought it was enough. And I was sure the wool would stretch out and it would be a bit longer. But this is cotton. This is the knitted in Sandnes Garn Mandarin Petites. And stunning wool. It's my first cotton wool I knitted with, I think. And it's quite soft for cotton. My hands are a bit sensitive to harsh wool. Like in my mind, hard. I'm saying hard when I mean hard. It's like wool that's not soft. So for me, this is considered hard or rustic, really, you know, rough. Rough is maybe the better word. But this is actually a quite soft cotton. I don't know if it's pure cotton. I think it might be. Anyway, the wool is stunning. This object is stunning. I was a bit, you know, intimidated with the stitch pattern. And I did make 1 or 2 mistakes. But again, because of my impatience and because at the end of the day, this is something self-made that doesn't have to be perfect. I just couldn't be bothered to unravel all the progress I made. And I mean, I'm still a beginner. Maybe now I'm a bit more of an advanced beginner, but at this point I very much still felt like a beginner. This was my first textured pattern and I just wanted to be done with it, to have the finished piece, and I'm so happy with it. It's a beautiful color, again, very out there for me, but I'm so happy with it and I can really recommend this pattern. It's a rose top from Sandnes Garn. I don't know if I said this already, but this is maybe a bit more of an advanced beginner pattern, but still so easy to understand. Everything is so well written, like the Sandnes Garn pattern. I'm positively surprised with. I didn't expect anything, you know, bad in particular or hard to understand, but I was, from the look of it, very intimidated, but I'm so happy and I'm so proud of myself for this, because this marked the transition from me from a really beginner knitter to maybe an intermediate beginner. I don't know. The next few are actually test knits I've done. So the first one is the Carocera headband, which is a test knit for the lovely 50 Studio. On Instagram, she is such a lovely person and it was such a big honor to knit this piece, test knit it for her. And it's this beautiful little bandana that is actually perfectly matching. I've worn this together and it's the perfect match. I mean, hello. Again, this is such a quick knit and such a beautiful, I think it's the honeycomb pattern. I'm not quite sure, but it's a beautiful pattern. I think this is the first pattern that I made a gauge swatch for because I needed to just exercise a little to get into the pattern. And I also made a mistake while knitting this. I accidentally decreased, if you can tell. You cannot really tell when I'm wearing it because it's in this part, which is, you know, basically covered by my hair anyways, but I accidentally decreased, I think, one time too much. And now on one side it's a bit thinner than on the other. I think you can see this quite well, but it doesn't bother me, and I think I'm definitely gonna knit up another one because this is such a beautiful piece and it was such an honor to test knit this, and I've worn this quite a few times already. It's beautiful. I forgot to say, so I'm sorry, this is all over the place, but this Kara headband is knit in wool from Penguin. I'm not sure, I don't remember what wool, but I will link it in the description, or you can find it on my Instagram account as well. But it's gorgeous because it has this shimmer, almost like a pearl effect, which makes the headband this much more special. The next test knit I've done was the basic bikini for Studio Annelies. I'm sorry if I butcher any names, but she's again such a lovely knitwear designer and her designs are so precious. At this point I think I wasn't even done with my vest yet, or the rose top, but I saw this bikini pattern and I really wanted to knit it, and I'm so happy I did. I chose those two colors, so I chose stripes as a bit of a challenge for myself, and this was actually such a quick and easy knit, besides the I-cord straps that you need for the top and the bottom both equally. This is knit in Drops Muscat, or I think I knitted it in Drops Muscat. I don't think it's the recommended wool, but it's what all the other, or most of the other test knitters chose, and it's quite affordable and has a little bit of a sheen to it, which I think is beautiful. And it turned out so beautiful, this little bikini. As I said, the most challenging thing about this knit were the I-cord straps, and I actually bought an I-cord like a maker for this because I was so impatient and I was not about to knit 150 centimeters of I-cord. No way, Jose. I think when I knitted this I was also sick, so I had even less patience, but I'm really happy with this, and once again so honored to have been able to test knit this. I cannot believe I already made 2 test knits just as a beginner knitter. I'm so proud of myself. I can only say this over and over again because I cannot believe I decided less than a year ago to just start knitting, and now I have made all of this for myself already, and I'm so grateful to be part of the community, to get a bit sentimental. The knitting community is so positive and amazing, and I love knitting. Knitting is the best hobby I have ever found besides reading, and I don't know, sitting here making this just makes me so emotional and realize how far I've come already. And we're already at the last finished object. I still have 3 works in progress to show you, but this is an incredible finished object. I'm so proud of this one and it's so beautiful. Those are the Lover Shorts by Le Poule, and these are just perfection. They work with raglan increases, and the thing that convinced me, the detail about this that convinced me to knit it, were actually these little framed ribbing. Oh my god, this is precious. Again, this is knit in Mandarin Petite from Sandnes Garn, is the wool that I chose. I don't think it's a recommended wool, but it's the wool I chose, and the color is stunning. I also ordered some green wool for this because I wasn't sure if I wanted to maybe do a striped action, and like with all of my knits I have a lot of wool left because I am impatient and never knit until the end. I think every single one of these, besides the socks and the Sophie scarf and the weekend hat, I have cut length just because of my impatience. But these are sadly a bit too big for me. I chose a size M. I should have gone with size S. I was just scared that they might be too tight for me around the waist. They are quite big, but still beautiful, and I'm going to France in 2 weeks. Can't wait to wear these at the beach. These are perfect. The color is amazing, such a beautiful color, especially if you have a tan. I don't have quite a tan yet because the sun will barely out in Germany this year, but I'm excited for these and I'm so proud. These are, oh, I cannot believe I created this with my own hands. You also sew in a waistband here, an elastic in the waistband. And I did all of this by myself. Cannot believe this. So these were all of my finished objects. And now I have 3 works in progress to show you. The first one is actually a project that I started in February this year. So I started this 5 months ago. And it is my first ever sweater, if I'm gonna finish it. I mean, I am going to finish it, but when is the question. And it is the Olga sweater by Petite Knit in exactly the same colors and the same wool as she recommends and uses in her pattern, which is the Peer Gyns from Sandnes Garn. This is beautiful. Now this piece cost me quite a lot of nerves and caused 1 or 2 mental breakdowns because of the German short rows. I did not understand the German short rows. I have a lot of holes here that I may or may not fix. I think this is maybe just a perfectionist in me speaking, because I have marked all the holes that I need to fix with my little stitch markers. Actually, now that I look at it, you cannot really tell because it's in the darker wool section, but I know that they're here. I will try to show you. So it's not even this much of a hole, and it's only when I stretch it out that you can really tell. But I think this is exactly where I did the German short rows. I'm still not sure if I understood how German short rows are supposed to work. You know, how you avoid having holes in your garment afterwards. And the other thing was the folded neck that caused me some problem. It's quite wonky. I think I folded it, you know, I didn't pick up the equal stitches on the inside, so it's a bit wonky, but nonetheless I'm really proud of this already, even though I haven't finished it. It's such a, once again, perfect beginner pattern, because Petite Knit just knows how to write a good pattern. Have to give it to her. I'm in love with this. It's stunning. The wool is quite rustic, Peer Gyns. I don't think it's a problem for me, but you know, you might have to wear something underneath, and also me, I don't know, I can imagine that if you get sweaty, this gets a bit too rustic, a bit too scratchy on my arm. But again, it's perfect. I love this. I love the colors I chose. I love the tweed in the yarn here. I'm obsessed. And actually, I think this is what caused my little hand problem, because the thing that put me off finishing it were the sleeves. Because I think I knitted up until here with magic loop, but the magic loop method on the socks is fun. On a sweater, not so much. And I just put off ordering short needles because I had all these other beautiful objects to do. But now that autumn is approaching, I really want to finish this garment because I think it's lovely. And I knit only this, like this section, I think, in the last week, in 2 days, with these beautiful short needles. But I think I was a bit too ambitious. Anyways, as soon as I'm able to knit again, I will do my best to finish this. So I will have it for autumn because it's so beautiful and I cannot wait to wear this. Now the next work in progress is another test knit for the lovely Pearl Parlor, is her name on Instagram, and it's her first ever pattern. It's the daisy dress. It's a bit wrinkled right now because I had it in my project bag, but it's this beautiful, beautiful dress. I will put a picture here of how it's gonna look once it's finished. And right now I'm done with the body and I will start taking increases for the hip area and the little ruffles that I will have to knit afterwards. It's a beautiful yarn from Nyanko yarn, I think they are called. And you hold 3 strands, as you can probably see, or not. I think I will use this pattern to just create a top, because when I tried this on just as the top that it technically is right now, I fell in love with it. And once again, I was not able to knit on this for the last 2 weeks because of my hand. But once I'm able to knit, I cannot wait to finish this. I still have, I think, a month. Oh no, by now it's 3 weeks to finish this until the deadline. And I really hope my hand will be okay within the next week. I do hope I will finish this before I'm going to France, so I can wear it. But if not, I will just take it along with me and finish it there. And the last work in progress is just another pair of Sunday socks, which I already teased. And this time I'm actually knitting it on DPNs with, again, Petite Knit Perfect. I already bought this in the beginning of the year when I bought the yarn for my first socks. I bought this 4 times, so for 2 pairs of socks, and the blue one I bought for the 1 pair I made. I did not make a lot of progress because I just started these just before I hurt my hand, but I'm really excited to finish these. I need to finish these soon because they are a gift knit. This marks the end of the video. These are all my finished objects and work in progresses since I started knitting, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so happy and so thankful for my grandma for teaching me how to knit, and also the internet for teaching me everything else that she didn't teach me, and the lovely knitting community. And also thanks to you if you've made it this far. Thank you for watching and, you know, going through my little knitting journey with me. Sorry if this video was a bit chaotic. It's my first video sitting down and talking, but it was so much fun, and I'm sure we even have a little guest now. This is Bean, my cat. He's just over a year old. Hello, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, he's so cute. Anyways, he decided to join us for the last part of the video. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me, for watching. I already have plans for the next videos that I'm maybe gonna do while I'm still hindered from knitting, so I can still take the time to do something knitting related. If you have any questions or, you know, just anything you want to say to me or about the video, just drop them in the comments. I will be keen to see what you have to say, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon, hopefully.